346 people died because pilots were never told about a piece of software. Can you blame that on one man? 7 family members are sitting in a federal courtroom in Fort Worth, Texas. They came from as far away as France. They have been waiting 3 years, and the government lawyer standing at the podium is about to tell them it's over. 2 planes, 2 nosedives, both caused at least in part by flight software that pilots were never told existed. Because a man named Mark Faulkner told the Federal Aviation Administration they didn't need to know. The Department of Justice had the messages. They had the chat log where Faulkner wrote in 2016, "I basically lied to the regulators." They had the emails where he pushed to delete all mention of the software from pilot training manuals. They had his own words. What they couldn't build was proof of what Faulkner actually knew when he went silent, because this wasn't just Faulkner. There were senior engineers who knew the software had been expanded. There were executives under whose authority the pressure to minimize pilot training flowed. The department had already looked at all of them. In January 2021, it signed a deferred prosecution agreement with Boeing itself and quietly found that the misconduct was neither pervasive across the organization nor facilitated by senior management. That finding let Boeing's leadership walk, and it left Faulkner as the only person left to charge. So they charged him. The Federal Aviation Administration, the agency Faulkner was accused of deceiving, approached prosecutors 12 days after the indictment and told them they were wrong. An official said Faulkner was a scapegoat, should not be charged. The agency submitted a formal presentation arguing the indictment contained many errors in fact. The prosecutors went to trial anyway. The jury acquitted in under 2 hours. And then in that same courtroom, the government lawyer stood up and said, "We did not find evidence of high-level criminal offenses by high-level officials." No individual, no executive, no engineer, no one. If you're a lawyer, you're aware that organizations can produce disasters while individuals absorb the accountability. The law will hand you a name, it will not tell you whether using it is justice. And that gap between what the law permits and what justice requires is not filled by doctrine. It is filled by whatever you have built in yourself before the moment arrives. A prosecutor stood in that gap with 346 names behind them and made a call. When your moment comes, will you do the same?